Okay, we back. Welcome back. Needs a little bunch of work on in the end, I think is what we're going to start with. I was trying to think. There was another block I needed. I don't know, though. I think we'll leave it for now, and maybe we'll come back to that later. I'm going to take all this obsidian with us, too, because I feel like I might need it later. Is there more? Am I blind? No. Okay, I think we're good. Oh, do I still have that on me? I do. Okay, good. This will get us there a little bit quicker. Bum, ba, bum, 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 ba, bum, bum, ba, dum. We're good. And break that. I was like, what? And into the end we go. Okay. My face is me the other way. It's so weird. So yeah, we just need to change these pillars, basically. Thought I did that one, or maybe it's the other one that's over there. I like what Riss did with this, though. I'm down. I'm down with this. I like it. It's gonna change, though, is the only problem, because I need to make this pillar thicker. Maybe we'll start with this pillar. But it's probably because I changed the method that you used the last time to something else and then changed it back to what it was. Welcome back. Aren't you out right now? Might as well just take all of these, hey? No, you're old and home already? Fair enough. Yeah, so I'm gonna make all the towers like that. I think it'll look cool. Like the whole way around. Only problem is we gotta make them all the same size. The easy thing is that it's a lot easier to get those blocks than it is to get obsidian, so. Bam is good. We wrote a... We were just working on some stuff. Some different stuff than our usual thing. Okay. So my question is, does this one need to be smaller? Something ain't right with the size of this one. We need to figure out what the actual size is of this one here. Okay. So, from the center, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. On both sides, I guess? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, okay. So... 1, 2... Wait, 1... So hard to see the outlines. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it basically needs to go out like one more block. the whole way around. So let's just, we'll leave this here, I guess. Makes most sense. We'll just start building up from here, I guess. I just want to start with these ones because they're a lot easier. They also need to be the same height, so we're going to have to go up to whatever the height of that one is. Well, I didn't look at them then, did I? I don't think I did. 1, 2, 3. So it needs to be like that. How was your night out? That's good. These are so tall. This one needs to go taller. I don't know if I'm going to worry about the height yet. I think I'm just going to worry about the shape, and then we can make them all the same height after, I guess. Okay, and then is 2... We go out 2 this way, and then 2 that way. I think that's right. So it goes like this, and then like this, and then like this. You know what? Well, let's just do the pattern so that we remember it here. So that's basically, we need to make everything that shape. That's the size of the other one. I don't know what I'm going to do with these areas here. I think it's probably better if I just light them up than actually fill them in with something, because it's just a waste of blocks, really. Okay. Yeah, so that should be fine. It'll be so bad once we get a nice pattern down here, too. We gotta do this for every tower. It's gonna be brutal. I went and got a bunch of Deepslate off stream, but... Oh. Okay. Now we just do the next one. Worst part is I gotta fly down every time, but... That's it. It's just Deepslate of mind. Yeah. Get out of the way, sir. Thank you. So I have fireworks for New Year's or whatever, right? I might do that tonight before the end of stream, because tomorrow night I have to take care of my grandmother, because my mother is gone out for the whole night. So I'm probably just gonna do the fireworks tonight, if that's okay. If you're down for that. Did I seriously take out the wrong Deepslate? I did. I'm a dum-dum. I'm a dum-dum. Hopefully I didn't actually use that Deepslate. I don't think I did. Let me put all this obsidian away while we have time here and chance. It's kind of weird doing like a New Year's thing, but like, it's early. Whatever. Fuck it. We don't care. I don't want to waste it, you know? I don't want to do it after New Year's because it seems weird to do it after. So I feel like it'd be better if we just did it before, you know? The other part of me wanted to play Metal Gear again tonight, but I was like, I gotta do Minecraft. I gotta. I don't know if you've seen the end of stream last night for Metal Gear, but I was gonna go a little bit longer, and then I got called away because things to do with grandmother. She keeps getting up in the middle of the night because she don't know what time of day it is anymore, right? So it's like, I ended up having to just like quit stream right away and go deal with that. Okay, so that should be good. We'll do that. No, I know that, but I wasn't sure if you went back and watched it or anything, because I know sometimes you do. But, yeah. You'll basically hear my mother in it, like, immediately, like, Kyle! Kyle! And I'm just like, I gotta go. Because I don't know if you remember, the original plan for this was for me to make everything out of obsidian and thicken it up. And I actually did go and get a lot of obsidian, but I realized that getting that much obsidian to do all these towers, especially like the smaller ones like that, to make them that thick, that's a lot of obsidian. So I was just like, you know what, maybe we can just cover it in another nice looking block. And I thought this block looked nice, because where they're going to be swords, the gray, I guess, kind of works a little bit better. So that's what we doing. Oh shit, did I look at anybody? I didn't mean to look at you guys, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, let's see what this one looks like. See? That looks cool. I think they'll look really cool like that. I don't know what I'm gonna make, like, the hilt of the sword out of or anything. I was thinking gold blocks, because that would be, like, really extravagant and cool, but, like, I feel like that's kind of a waste of materials. Unless we just farm gold like crazy. Or make a better gold farm. See, if we could get on top of the nether roof like you can in Java, I would make the same gold farm that Phil has, but, like, I can't do that, so... In Bedrock. That's not in Bedrock. But I think we could do this. Is doable. We're gonna run out of this before we even get remotely close to where we need to be. But still we can get there. It's gonna take a bit of time. We're gonna have to go mining for more probably too. Also, I was thinking, where I was playing Metal Gear or whatever, that I might, and because I'm a huge fan of those games in general, I might actually do, like, a Metal Gear build on here. Across from my house, like, across the river. I was thinking about just building a giant Metal Gear, just, like, coming out of the trees. I think it'd be really cool. We could use, like, Deepslate and, Blackstone probably would be, like, the best materials. It's funny because I was going looking for Deepslate for this build, and I found so many diamonds when I was mining this. I literally went down to bedrock, like down to the very bottom, and just mined in a line in like every direction, and I found so many diamonds. I don't know why there's so many diamonds down there, but apparently that's where all the diamonds in my world are too. Who knew? Just remember for a while we were looking for him and couldn't find it. Ow! Ow! Rude. Oh, now you're on fire. Now what? Now what? Asshole. Okay. Yeah, so also, to go back to what I was talking about before, I'm like jumping all over the place with my conversations here. I'm not gonna be streaming tomorrow night. Because if I'm upstairs, I don't want to stream while she's there or whatever, right? So, fair enough. Whoopsie. There we go. One there. Which means one gotta go there, right? Okay. Let me grab some more here. And see, I had to shave down the other one over there because I decided to do it this way. So we shaved off all the obsidian off the side of it there, and that's how much we ended up getting, which is like a lot. You'd think this would be a lot of deep slate, but it's really not for what we need, you know? I totally looked at that guy. Yeah. Okay, come on. Oh, yeah? You don't know what he wants to do. He wasn't sure if he wanted to fight. Anyway. I'm enjoying playing Metal Gear, though. I actually was disappointed last night when I got called away because I really wanted to keep going for a little bit. But, we beat another boss last night after you left, so I beat 2 bosses in one stream. We beat the Fear. He was trivially easy, as I remembered. And, we are currently about to fight the end, basically. I just have to go through one area, and then we're to the end. Like, the boss, the end, not the end of the game. He is a harder boss if you don't know what you're doing, but I've done it a lot. He's, like, my favorite boss. He's one of the bosses that I would actually just fight, like, and do, like, a little time trial thing, because there's, like, a mode where you can fight the bosses separately from the game. We'll probably do more Metal Gear games. I was thinking, you know, like, if I enjoy playing it that much, and they're some of my favorite games, like, of all time, a lot of them are in that series, then maybe streaming a few of them would be a good idea. Like, maybe we could do, say, 3, which is what we're doing right now, and then we could do Peace Walker, which is a really fun one. 2, 3... I just need the Metal Gear collection for Xbox 360 would be the easiest way to do that game. I could do it from a PSP, but the HD version would probably look better. And what else could we do? I'm trying to think of, like, another Metal Gear game that's really good. We could do the retro ones, like the 8-bit ones that are out. But as for, like, the more production-heavy ones, we could probably do something like, 3 Peace Walker. That would be good because the story goes from 3 to Peace Walker. That's perfect. The next game in the series would be some of the 8-bit ones, which we could also do. We could do the original Metal Gear Solid, or do, like, the GameCube version, which is a lot better looking. Possibly. I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to do the ones that I'm not, like, my least favorite ones, because, like, I want to actually have fun when I'm playing them, obviously. So... And 3 is my favorite, and Peace Walker is my second favorite in the entire series, so... That's why those would be the perfect ones to do. And the story continues that way, so it's kind of cool, you know? We could also do some, like, offshoot ones that they have out. don't know. We'll see. It's ideas. It's ideas. Not only that, but I also like videos of me beating them and playing them, because then I have that, you know? Like, I know I've beaten that game, like, 4 or 5 times, right? 3 times on the original disc, and then more on, like, the 3DS version and stuff like that. But, like, it's nice having, like, a video of beating certain games. I just think that's cool to have. Because, like, it's not something that I'm ever going to lose, you know? Like, I'll always have that. It's a good thing about the internet, I guess, and if you're streaming on YouTube, even if you're not making money or anything, later on you can look back and see all these things, you know? It's weird how, like, we look at, like, our grandparents' stuff, and it's just, like, these old black and white photos and stuff, and then, like, when we're that old, it's gonna be like, oh, like, you know, your grandfather used to be a Twitch streamer. It's gonna be so fucking weird. Your grandma was the best Instagram model. Funny how things change. Okay. So we don't need these bedrock blocks that are here. So I'm going to cover them over. They're going to be covered with something anyway, but... yeah. I don't know what the height of this one is. I feel like that's right. What's out there will be out there forever. True. I'm not going to fill this in. It doesn't need to be filled in. We'll just light it up so nothing spawns in here, but... I think that's the right height. Does that look like that's the same height as that? I think it is. 103. Could be wrong. We're going to want to go 1 block higher, though, because... we're going to basically do that with this one, too. That one's going to have to be 1 block taller so that we can cover up the bedrock block. Because we can't remove that block, right? That block is there forever. You can't break it. I mean, I could if I used, like, a redstone contraption or something like that, but it ain't worth the effort. We can just cover it over. It's not a big deal. Okay, so let's fill this in. This is going to take a really long time to do this build properly, but... you know, that's it. That's it. That's all we can do. Bam, bam, bam. Bam, 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 bam. There we go. So that's 1. Alright, I wanted to light up on the inside first, didn't I? Let's do that right quick. We'll just put 1 right here in all these corners. Should be enough. Perfect. There we go. Okay, so that's that one. Let's try and see if we can we... No, we can't glide that far. Okay, so that was 104. And this is 103. So that's perfect. So we just got to cover this over now like this. Basically, it needs to be that height. We just got to do the rest of the shit now. It's going to be brutal. See, I got to remove, because this is the biggest one, and we're going to make them all this shape. I got to remove every, like, I have to plane off 1 entire block from every bit. So, that's it. It's going to be a tedious process. There's a way I can do this so I can hit both of them. Like this, maybe? Trying to find, like, the very edge. Or like that. Perfect. On the bright side, we're going to have this huge surplus of obsidian when we're done with this build that we can use for other things. Because I always like making full obsidian statues, so that's pretty cool. We could probably do like an Enderman statue in the overworld somewhere. Or we could use it on the Metal Gear, possibly. Oh, we'll see. I'm excited that we're getting through that game, though. Like, actually, like, we're about, I want to say, like, 40% through the game now. So, that's pretty cool. At least I know with that game that I've beaten it before. I know how to beat it, so I could just, you know, that we can do it again on stream. It's really hard when it's another game I haven't played before and trying to beat it, because I really don't have the attention span if I'm really not interested in something. You know? I'm obviously not going to continue playing something if I'm not enjoying it, because then if I'm not enjoying it, then you guys probably aren't enjoying it either. Because I was just thinking the other day, like when I decided to do the Metal Gear game, I was like, well, what games could I play that like I would actually enjoy playing on stream, right? And I had just done a little thing of Ground Zeroes, which I like that Metal Gear game, and I was like, well, maybe I could like actually play through a full Metal Gear game. I mean, the only other games I could think of that I could do fully through and like actually enjoy it would probably be like Zelda. Maybe we could do a Zelda game going straight through, like an older one. Metal Gear's weird too. Like some people, I understand some people that just think, "Oh, Metal Gear's weird. I don't like this." But I always loved the Metal Gear games. They have their own humor to them, but they're also very political. They got a lot of good like moral type storylines. You know what I mean? Like things like they're all. How do I say this? What is the thing? There's like. They basically all have a word that they revolve around. The director of the games has said that there's like a certain word for each game that the game's story will revolve around. So like, with Metal Gear Solid 5, the newest one that was out, the word was revenge, right? And it was showing how like they're trying to get their revenge, but when they finally get their revenge at the end of the game, it's not quite what they had hoped. Right? Like, they still have an empty feeling, even though they got their revenge on someone. And, MGS3, I don't know what word they said it was for that one. I don't know. You can look it up. I'm sure he said it somewhere, but it's interesting how they, thought of that. You know? It's an interesting way of writing a story. Like, obviously, Peace Walker, the entire word that they go by for that one is peace. Like, you know, what does peace mean to different people? Which Peace Walker is going to be the next one that we play, probably. That one has a lot to do with nuclear deterrence. Like that theory and stuff like that. And, like, is that really a safe thing? Like, is it really... Because the idea of nuclear deterrence is that, like, if somebody were to launch a nuke, the other countries would also launch a nuke, so nobody wants to launch one, right? It deters everybody from doing that. But is that really an option? Because all it takes is, like, you know, one crazy person that doesn't have a good moral compass to just fuck that up and not care, you know? So yeah. Long story short, the basic premise of the game is that they give a machine the ability to launch nukes, but not have that moral compass as to whether or not it's morally right to launch. So they basically put an AI in a machine to make the decision for humans, and that's the problem. That's the big thing of that game. So that game is one of my favorites, too. It takes place right after the one that we are currently playing, or like a few years after. So I think that one would be an interesting one to play, too. It's actually a PSP game, but it's a mainline story game. He originally was going to call it the 5th game, but they didn't because it was a portable game, and they figured that people would be mad about that. But it's hard to explain with MGS, right? Because the storyline for the games is all over the place, right? Like, with the very first games that he made were on a console or a computer called the Sony MSX, which is a really cool computer. It's one I actually wish I owned. They're so cool. It's kind of like the Atari one I have, but it's like an all black and it has a little, like, it's so cool. I love them. And it uses cassettes. Anyways, the first Metal Gear game was out on that. It was just called Metal Gear. It was extremely popular. And the series already gets convoluted and confusing as fuck right from the get-go. Because the game was popular. They were like, okay, well, it's popular here in Japan. Let's bring it over to America. Only problem was the Sony MSX computer console wasn't in America. So the only console that was really popular was the NES. So they ported the game to the Nintendo, which I own that version of that game. And it's considered, even by the director of the game, to be inferior because they changed a lot of things in the game, story-wise and gameplay-wise, and it's not as fun as the original version. Either way, it was still really popular over here, right? So, I don't know if you noticed about video game companies, but usually when there's a Japanese video game company, there's an American, there's an American section of the company, and then there's the Japanese section of the company. So basically, Konami America was like, well, this is really popular here, so let's greenlight a sequel right away, and we'll get some of the same team working on it, and they'll do a sequel. So over here in North America, they made a sequel called Snake's Revenge, which is a terrible game. I mean, it's not terrible, it's just terrible in the context of the series. And the director of the original game in Japan didn't like it, so he made his own sequel, which is called Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. So that's the real, true, canonical sequel to the first game. Hopefully you're still with me. This gets so convoluted. So that was also on that computer in Japan, and that game never came here. The second game in the series never ever came over here until way later on in like 2006. Anyways, so he doesn't do anything with the series for like most of the 90s, and he's doing like other games, like he had other different games like called Police Knots and Snatcher, you know, Snatcher. Those games are made by the same person, and he did those. 1998 comes around, and he wants to make another Metal Gear, so he makes a game called Metal Gear Solid for the PlayStation 1. And it's one of the best-selling PlayStation 1 games, like, of all time. It became a huge hit. One of the probably best-selling games ever, honestly. And it was really popular. So then he makes another one for PS2 called Metal Gear Solid 2. That's also a good game. That one's a very confusing story-wise one, though. That one's has a lot of, like, Illuminati type shit like that in it. So all of these games, you're playing as a character called Solid Snake. Right back to the 80s when they were doing those old computer games, you're playing as a character called Solid Snake. Which is kind of a tribute thing, kind of based on the character from the movie Escape from New York, Escape from LA, with Kurt Russell. The character's name is Snake Plissken. He has an eye patch. So, so he decides, okay. So the storyline of the very first Metal Gear game was like your boss, the guy that's telling you around. His name is Big Boss, and he betrays Solid Snake at the end of the game, and he tries to kill you, so you have to kill him. And the second game, he's suddenly alive again, and you don't know why he's alive again, but you have to kill him again, right? So Big Boss was this huge kind of mythical character to the series. So with Metal Gear Solid 3, when it came out, he's like, well, instead of doing another game starring Solid Snake, why don't we do a game starring the original Big Boss? So that's what the one I'm playing now is. It's like the original takes place in the 60s. It's the first game in the story of all of these games. And then when the fourth game came out, they went back to making Solid Snake the main character. So it's really weird and confusing because the numbers of the games don't necessarily represent the storyline. Because technically, if you want to play in order, like year to year, all the way up until present day, you want to start with the third game, and then do Peace Walker, and then do Metal Gear 2, Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 4, and then that's basically the series there, right? That's what I'm saying. It's confusing when someone doesn't know the games, right? But yeah, it's really cool. I always like the storyline of it. It sounds convoluted. It's really hard to explain. But you got to remember that this is a story. I'm trying to explain it in 10 minutes. What games that have been coming out for 3 decades, right? Because they started in the 80s and the last one came out in 2018 or whatever. So it's a long running series. Big story. Big story. Lots of characters. Lots of characters that have relations to each other. Like, ones in the 60s are related to characters later on. Like, their sons are in the later games, you know what I mean? And I guess a lot of the theming of the stories in these games, too, technically comes from people trying to not make the same mistakes as their parents. Type of deal. Because the character we're playing as in 3 right now is Big Boss, otherwise known as Naked Snake. He's the original really good soldier. Like, he's the one, everybody considers to be the perfect soldier. And because he was so perfect, they did an experiment on him without knowing and took his DNA and made 3 clones of him, but they're all imperfect. So that's why there's Solid Snake, is technically a clone of him, right? So then when you go in those games, you have to kill Big Boss, you're basically killing your father, right? Kind of. So that's why it was interesting to see. Because with the clone characters, they're kind of unfeeling. Like, Solid Snake's a real action hero. He doesn't really have feelings per se. He doesn't really get angry about things. But when you play the game with Big Boss, you're like, oh, this character's cool because this guy's just a straight up human character. He has emotions and stuff. And I guess they could play around with that more, you know? So I generally prefer the games where you play as Big Boss than the ones with Solid Snake. I remember when Metal Gear Solid 3 came out, I was like, holy shit, this game is amazing. It's a PS2 game. It looks amazing for a PS2 game. The story is extremely interesting. The characters were all good, although some of them are cheesy. That comes with the territory of the games. They just have cheesy characters in general, so. Where are we to? We just gotta get rid of these, right? So you probably didn't understand a word of what I just said, but, you know. That's why when I started to play through them, too, I decided to start with 3, because I was like, well, we'll start canonically with the original beginning story and then go on, right? And then later on, if we decide to do the other games, we'll do them in order. Did you? I completely forgot Metal Gear Solid 5 out of all this, too, when I was doing that timeline thing. So it goes 3, Peace Walker, 5, Metal Gear 2, Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 4, and that's it. The 5th one was the newest one to come out, which was supposed to show the story arc of how Big Boss, the character we're playing as the one we're in right now, turns into a villain, because in case you don't see where the story is going in the game we're playing right now, he's gonna have to kill his mentor, like that, you know, the boss, like that woman that wears the all white. And basically, she's defecting from the United States to the Soviet Union in the game to, I don't know, it's almost like clearing the air. Like, she lays down her gun to be for peace. Instead of picking a side, she wants to do whatever. But because he kills her, he feels guilty about killing her because she's the actual representation of peace. Right? But because in the game it's staged like she's a defector, even though she was like actually a good person with doing the morally right thing, she's gonna go down in history as a villain, right? And he feels guilty for it because he's the one that's putting her in history books as a villain. So his story arc in the next few games is trying to deal with the emotion that he killed his mentor knowingly, that she was a really good person and everybody else thinks of her as a villain. So he feels guilty about it, right? So that's going to be the thing with him. And over time, he interprets her will and what she wanted the world to be like the wrong way. And he creates basically like a sanctuary for soldiers to live, where everybody is basically a family and everybody works together and whatnot. But at the same time, it ends up blowing up in his own face, right? So it's kind of the thing where he gets so carried away with trying to fulfill what he thinks is her will that he becomes a villain. And that's why 5 was a really interesting game when it came out, because it was like, oh, we're finally going to get to see where he starts to become a villain, because it gets to the point with his story where he's in these poorer countries and he starts to recruit like child soldiers and stuff like that, which obviously is morally wrong. And that's like a huge part of his character arc, right? So you see this guy that started out as a good person slowly become a bad person, become the villain, and then his son eventually has to kill him. So 5 was supposed to be the game that bridges the gap between the end of his story and when Solid Snake has to come kill him. The unfortunate thing about that was that the director who created the game and did the story got fired from the company and his entire team. And they were treated extremely badly during the creation of the 5th game. And the game didn't actually get finished. So there's a whole chapter of the game that we'll never get. So we'll never get the conclusion. Well, like, we know, but like we'll never get a video game version or a movie version of the character's final arc, unfortunately, because he doesn't work for them anymore, which is why he just moved on and started a new series called Death Stranding, which is what we were playing with Norman Reedus in it and stuff. So that sucks. And it's kind of ironic, and I kind of wonder if when he was naming the game that he did it on purpose, because Metal Gear Solid 5 is called The Phantom Pain, because he loses his arm in the game, and he has this, you know, people that have missing limbs, they have a thing that's called a phantom pain, where they can feel pain in a limb that's not there anymore. But the funny part about it is that because the game's story wasn't complete and we never got the complete game and we're missing a chapter, all the fans ended up being left with this phantom pain of wanting the story to be finished, but we'll never get it. So it became really meta, really. They also explain how you killed Big Boss in the original game and then he came back somehow after you, like, literally killing him. It's so convoluted. It's fun. I could talk for hours about MGS because it's like literally one of my favorite series. It probably, honestly, it shaped a lot of the way that I think about things throughout my life, and a lot of my political ideals and opinions, I guess, kind of started with that. That was what really got me into politics to begin with, because before I never really cared, you know, but like then when you think about all these things, it's like it's crazy to think about. Especially seeing as how the series is rooted in reality with obviously fictional stuff, right? Like superpower fucking crazy soldiers like we've been fighting, like the pain and the fear and stuff like that. But it has that rooted in reality thing. Like the game starts off talking about the Cuban Missile Crisis in the 60s and stuff like that, right? So it's really interesting how they take actual historical things that happen, but then warp it into like this weird timeline of things that could happen. Because like the fourth game goes into having like thing where people are starting to have like implants that control their thoughts or control the way that they react or control their emotions, which is a thing that could conceivably happen at some point, right? And then it's shown the dangers of that in it. Is the idea. So like this cool, like how they just tackle different subjects like that, and then they put that Japanese anime twist on it that makes it funny and entertaining, but at the same time kind of deep and really fun to think about. MGS5 is conceivably the worst game in technically. It has a world record for the world's longest cutscene in a game, which I think is 71 minutes. A 71-minute... It's like a movie where you're not playing the game. But it is the last game in the series, so I guess it was kind of like an ending cutscene to just tie all the characters' loose ends together and stuff. MGK5? No. We don't talk about him on here, okay? We only talk about the GOAT on here, okay? I could take a breath. But yeah, I could go on talking about those games forever. Like I posted, you didn't see on my Instagram, but I posted a picture a little while ago, last week of like all the Hideo Kojima, that's the director, writer, whatever of the video games. One of my favorites of all time. And I posted a picture of like all my Kojima related games, which is like all the Metal Gear games, obviously, and Death Stranding, and Police Knots. I don't own Snatcher, obviously, because it's like fucking $3,000. Yeah. And coincidentally, I got right back into playing all these games, like, this last week, and wanting to play through all of them, and now there's rumors going around that the company that owns the rights to the games are making another one, and it's probably gonna be fucking horrible. Without him directing it, I have very little faith that it's gonna be a good game. Like, I don't know. It's like when you have like a movie by a really famous director, and then another director takes over later, and like it's not the same, you know? Especially if they like, and the art direction too, like the art designer, Yoji Shinkawa. He's a really good artist and really good concept artist. Obviously, he designs all the Metal Gears, all the characters, whatever, right? He's a really good artist. I love his artwork, like just in general. And he's with Kojima now, so if he's not working on the Metal Gear games, then it's kind of like that's part of its identity, right? The person who's designing the stuff. So the only way I could conceivably see the games going well without him is if they have a younger team maybe that grew up with the games know what it, like, you know, they know the in-depth thing like I do, and they have like the story down. They know the art style that it usually goes for, and then they go for that. I think that's important to the series because that's its identity, right? So I feel like that's the only way that it would be a success. Other than that, I can't see it being good. They did one game without him already, and it was fucking horrible. They basically just was like Metal Gear Solid, but zombies, and it was like, what? Like, there's always been some kind of stuff like that, but like not full on like a zombies apocalypse game. It's kind of like strange, you know? Like, no, don't do that. Stop, please. Please. Trying to get this right here. There we go. Should be fine. In fact, give me a second. I'll show you something. Interview panel to be on the creation of game. Yeah, that'd be pretty crazy. Hang on 1 second. I'll show you something. Okay. So obviously, I don't have like all the games here, but like I was just gonna show you like the difference in artwork is what I mainly wanted to show you. Some of the games have like alternate like covers. Okay, so I played this on stream like earlier the week. This is called Ground Zeroes, right? It looks like that. This is the 5th one. It's like the prologue to the game. But it has alternate artwork you can turn around, which is the artwork of the main artist that does stuff. And I love his artwork. His style is so cool. Like, see? It's all like calligraphy type pen art. And it looks so nice. But yeah. So he used to do the covers on like all the games, and then they eventually kind of like the company just didn't want him to do it, I guess. But like I have certain ones like limited editions that have his artwork, like this one here. Right? It's a nice little collector's edition, has the game inside. I'm just showing you like different ones. Okay. I don't know where to start here. Like, this is like the original one, right? The MGS. PlayStation 1. And there's a lot of PSP games. Only one of them is like a canonical story one, and the other ones are like different types of things. Metal Gear Acid is like a weird card game series that was done by like different writers and stuff. It's pretty cool, but it's not as good as obviously the other stuff. This is Peace Walker. This is the one I want to do next. I love this game so much. Like, I actually like adore that game. I remember staying up super late. Like, I used to go over to my friend's house, and because it's a co-op game, we used to go over to his house, and we would play it on our PSPs online, and we beat the game, and we were up till like 6 a.m. We were up so late that we never went to sleep. We just went to Tim Hortons after we finished the game and got a breakfast sandwich, and then just came back and passed out. And I remember that like it's yesterday. As for like the PS2 games, I have like the main ones and the special editions of each, because they like re-released them with extra features and stuff, right? So like this is the original Metal Gear 2, and then this is like the limited edition one. And as for 3, the one we're playing right now, this is the original game here with the cover. And the one that we're playing it off of is this one right here. Mainly because they updated it a little bit, like they added where I can move the camera myself. The other one was basically like top down, kind of on an angle. And it's really weird to go back and play. But this one also added online. It was the first time the game was online. And I remember playing that online like crazy on PS2. Like, so much. But if we do go to play the 8-bit ones, like the ones that are on those computers that are only in Japan, they have them on the second disc of this game as like a little bonus. So we could play them straight off of here in English, and it would be really fun to go through the good versions of the games. But yeah. Yeah. So it's safe to say I'm a huge fan of all of his games, not just Metal Gear, but obviously Metal Gear is the one that he's the most known for. But yeah. And now Death Stranding, because Death Stranding's like his series that he's kind of tied to now. Because Konami owns the rights to Metal Gear Solid, and he can't do anything with his own IP, right? Which is fucking stupid. Somebody, like Sony, should literally just buy it out from under Konami and just give it back to him so he can continue making fucking games. Although I'm sure he's probably sick of making games in that series. He's been doing it for fucking 4 decades or whatever. He's probably fucking sick of that. He's like, I hate that series. Because I remember there was one time he's like, I wanted to quit like 3 games ago, but like people just want more. They love the characters, right? So I found it neat when we streamed Death Stranding like last week. I did the new DLC that was out for it, and it was really neat because there was this one level in the DLC that was supposed to be Metal Gear inspired, but legally it can't be. So like he just threw some nods to the fans of those games, right? And it was really cool. Like there was a cardboard box on the shelf, and he looks at it and decides to try to get into it, because in Metal Gear it's like a classic item is you get a cardboard box and you can hide inside a box and the guard won't find you. It's stupid, but it's like a staple part of the series. So the fact that they just put that little nod into Death Stranding was really cool. As well as the music. They did some music similar to like the original Metal Gear Solid, which was really cool. The music in his games are generally kind of similar anyways. I think the only 2 games I haven't played through that he created was Police Knots and Snatcher, obviously, because I can't play Snatcher unless I emulate it or something, which I don't want to. I'd like to play an original copy. And I own the prologue for Police Knots, but I don't own the actual full game. But this is the prologue one here, see? It's for that obscure 3DO console. Problem is a lot of these games come out in Japan and they never get an English translation, or if they do get an English translation, it's not common to find, so the games end up being really, really expensive. Like Snatcher. Like Snatcher came out for Sega Saturn. It came out for I think PC Engine. It came out for a bunch of other consoles. And Sega CD. Whoa, what the fuck was that? But the Sega CD version is the only version that got translated to English. All the other versions are in Japanese. So, like, I could get them a lot cheaper. Like, I could get the Saturn version for, like, $20. But I won't be able to understand it. And if I want to play it in English, I have to buy the Sega CD version, which is, like, over $1,500. Like, I just wish they'd re-release it so I could actually play it in English and enjoy the story, you know? Okay, we're almost on this tower. This tower is the most tedious one. This is the only one that we have to do this to. The other towers should be fine. That tower there is going to be tedious as fuck. I don't think I'm going to fill in everything. I think what I'm going to do with these smaller ones is I'm going to make the shape, and we're just going to surround it and put torches inside so that nothing spawns in there. But I think that should be fine. Okay. These big builds, when we do them, are always the most tedious thing ever. How is the stream looking, by the way? Does it look blurry, or is the bitrate weird, or is the audio delayed? I'm just asking, because my stream manager says that the bitrate's like going all over the place, but I'm not sure if that's accurate. Okay. Sometimes it just doesn't show it right. Cool. Cool. But yeah, I love playing those games. See, if I really wanted to play MGS3, I'd like to play the version that's on this, which is like a collection, and they're all in high definition. But there's no way to stream PlayStation 3. It has like a block, so you can't stream it. So my only way to do it would be to find the Xbox 360 version of this and stream that. So maybe I'll try to do that later on. Not right now, obviously, but yeah, it'd be pretty cool. Because this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of the games on the one collection, right? It's pretty cool. Also has a really cool art book in it. Probably one of the only series I wouldn't sell my figurines from. Like, I have Jurassic Park stuff, I have Batman stuff. I'd probably sell all that soon, honestly. Before I ever moved or anything like that. And, the Metal Gear stuff is probably one of the only ones that I would keep. And Ghostbusters. I don't have a whole lot of Metal Gear figurines, but they're harder to find, and they're not really toys like Ghostbusters and stuff are, you know. They're more like models. They're more like those like resin, high quality models. I got a good few of them like that. I think some of them are made by McFarlane, if you know what that is. I also have an artwork cell from one of the video games for like concept art. Whew. Okay, another one. 2, 3. You feeling like you're gonna fall asleep yet, or what? One, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna stream for like the full time tonight anyways. I'm probably just gonna finish this one more section here. And then we'll go do the fireworks thing. If you can last until then. We'll just cover over the top for now. I'll finish the other side of it after. And we just know that we have to shave off those other 2 areas that are there. I've been like holding off. Like I've been wanting to do the fireworks for like several nights now, and I'm just like, man, I can't wait to like actually be able to do it. Let's see what this looks like real quick. Okay, see, like I think all the pillars, when they look exactly like that and they're all the exact same size, is gonna look really cool. Yeah. Which one is the one that has... Is it this one? Yeah, see, because we have so much obsidian on us. It's a bright side, I guess. Riss did a great job with the entranceway, by the way. I don't know if you were here right from the beginning of stream, But every time I come in here now, I'm just like, man, it looks so fucking cool. Like, look what they did. Look at this. Look how cool that looks. Although I'm gonna have to ruin this because this tower is gonna have to be thicker. But it looks so nice. I guess it was a team effort though, because the glass and stuff like that. Yeah, so once they're all that color, I think that's gonna be cool. And we'll put like, you know, like the sword hilt on the top, like they're all dug into the ground. And that's gonna be the idea. Okay, so we'll go do the fireworks, and then we'll end stream after that. Tonight was a late stream because of the whole band thing. I didn't have time to fucking get home and stuff. Okay. Just gotta wait for nighttime. We don't want to do it in the daytime, obviously. Okay, I got it all set up, so it should work. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna be pissed. And look, we're just in time. Sunset. Although, oh, I never thought about phantoms. Hopefully, phantoms aren't gonna be a thing to ruin this. They probably will. Phantoms ruin everything. How? Okay, so I figured the way I have it set up is it's gonna go off over there where the dam is, and the button is just over here because I wanted to have the crow and stuff in the shot, you know. So there's a lot of fireworks in there, but I don't know how long it's gonna be before it's done. Probably not long because it gets rid of them real quick. Okay, so we'll wait for nightfall. Please, no phantoms, please. Fingers crossed. Still awake? Doodle-doo. There's a frog up here, and he's just been here forever now. He's just been chilling in that one block right there. I'm just waiting for it to be fully night. Okay, it's fully night now. Shall we go? I'm not gonna do the Happy New Year everything, but this is our New Year's fireworks right here. Because I can't stream tomorrow night. Ready? There's even creeper ones in here, so I'm hoping they show up nice. They explode into like a creeper face. I'll turn down the music a little bit. Okay. Ready. Countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. He's excited. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Well, that was that. I feel like 2 of them didn't go off, though. I could be wrong. They didn't. And there are phantoms. Hello. Why didn't you guys work? Weird. I didn't want to, like, stop it in the middle of that one, but, like, that's weird. Of course something would go wrong. It's always something. What about now? Okay, whatever. There's some more for you. Should we fly around it? Ow. Yeah. Okay, that should be everything. It took me forever to set this up in case it's not evident. Running the redstone signal all the way. So, like, why wasn't that working when I had it? Like, it should have still worked. I had it planned so that they would go off, like, at different times. Like, see how these ones are slower? Probably should have just left it like that, I guess. Anyway, we have it there for next time we want to do it, too, now. That is so much gunpowder that I had to get just for that, like, 10 seconds of fucking fireworks. There we go. Okay. Yay! New Year, new me. My New Year's resolution is absolutely nothing. Because I'm not going to do it. Okay. I don't know if you noticed I added all these flowers and stuff around too. Looks pretty. Quite pretty. Oh, there's one more thing. There's one more thing I wanted to mention on stream. Because I was playing off stream when I was getting the Deepslate. And I was filling in some areas and placing flowers around and trying to make the area look a little bit prettier. So, every time that I come over here, on this path up here, I was hearing zombies, right? Watch this. Watch this bullshit. Watch this. Okay, so I came up here right quick, and I was just, huh. Like, I wonder where. Look at this. Look. There's a zombie spawner literally right next to my pond, right next to my spawn, and I didn't know it was here. And I didn't break this block, might I add. I literally just seen it. Like, I just came up here and was like, oh, it's weird. They sound really close here. And then I looked, and there's just a hole and a zombie spawner there. And I was like, that's been there the entire time we've had this world, and I never knew about it? There's no chests in there or anything. It's just strange. Because remember, I was looking for, like, a zombie spawner, and then I was looking for, like, a spider spawner, and, like, it's just crazy that it's here. Weird, right? Anyway, I'm not going to break it. I'm going to leave it there, because they don't seem to be spawning outside of that area, but maybe we could do something with it later on. I was thinking it might be good, because they will spawn zombie villagers occasionally. It'd be a good place to, like, just farm zombie villagers from. Anywho, let's have a little nappy poo, and then we will end stream there. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to end stream here. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it very much. If you're watching the VOD, please follow, because I need any support I can get. We're at 55. We're trying to get to 60. 100 being our main goal. If you like it on YouTube, please subscribe. Please come follow. Come follow on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Conker Chimera. I don't know why there's a llama outside my window right now. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing out there? Bro. Okay. Anyways. Talk to you later. Thanks for watching.